In 46752, the digit blank is in the 10,000s place. Okay, so let's write down the number first. 4, 6, 7, 5, 2. We'll work out the problem slowly. So 2 is in the 1's place, good. 5 is in the 10's place, good. After 10's place is 100's place, good. After 100's place is 1000's place, good. And after 1000's place is 10,000's place, good. Which means that 4 is in the 10,000's place. So answer is 4. $62,008 is the same as blank. So let's work it out slowly. 1,000 is 1 with how many zeros? Good, 3 zeros. Tens is 1 with how many zeros? Good, just 1 zero. So now we can replace thousands with 3 zeros. And we can replace our 10 with 1 zero. So we just have to add them up. So this should give you 62080. Hence answer is option 4. Which of the following numbers has a factor of 8? Okay, so if the number has a factor of 8, it also means that the number is a multiple of 8, right? So let's list out our multiples of 8 and see which number falls inside. So 8, 16, 24, 32, 40, 48, 56, 64, 72. So the only number that falls inside is 48, right? Which means answer is option 2. A factory produces 137 chairs each day. How many chairs does it produce in 28 days? So one day, the factory can produce 137 chairs. Which means in 28 days, the factory can produce 137 times 28 chairs. This should give you 3836. Hence answer is option 4. A fruit seller had 3216 oranges. 320 oranges were rotten. He threw the rotten oranges away and packed the rest equally into 8 boxes. How many oranges are there in each box? So the seller started with 3216. And he had to throw away the rotten oranges, which means now he has lesser oranges. Lesser means you have to minus. So to find out how many oranges were left, we have to minus. So we take 3216 minus what was thrown away, right? Which is 320. So it's here. So that should give you 2896. Out of all these oranges left, you want to pack it into 8 boxes. Then they ask you how many oranges were there in each box. Which means 8 boxes. In total, there's 2896 oranges. Now we want to find out in one box how many oranges are there. So we just have to take 2896 divided by 8. Good. And that should give you 362. Hence answer is option 1. The figure is not drawn to scale. Name the angle that's marked 115 degree. So this is the angle that's marked 115 degree. So we'll trace out the lines. So it's these 2 lines, right? So can we name these 2 lines? It's represented by 3 letters and they are A, D, and C. So answer is just ADC. So answer is option 4. Good. Next, what is the value of angle PQR? So we are given a protractor, we are supposed to know how to read the protractor. So you can either use the inner scale or the outer scale. So in this case, I want to choose to use the inner scale, which means that I can get rid of the outer scale. So let's look at the inner scale. So the line cuts 160 here, and it cuts 30 here, right? So we just have to take the bigger number minus the smaller number. So just 160 minus 30 degree. And that should give you 130 degree. Hence, answer is option 3. If you use the outer scale, you are going to get the same answer too. So just take the bigger number minus the smaller number. Half of a complete turn is equals to. So you may not know what half of a complete turn is, but you definitely know what is a right angle. This is a right angle. So this is 90 degree. This is 90 degree. And in fact, this is half a complete turn. So you're supposed to see a semicircle. So half a complete turn is just 90 degree plus 90 degree, which is 180 degree. Hence, answer is option 2. Just for your information, one complete turn is this circle over here, this green circle. So you're supposed to turn another half around, then you'll get one complete turn. But in this question, we only want half of it, and that's why we are looking at this orange semicircle. Question 9. ABCD is a rectangle. Find angle A. So one thing you must recognize that this is a corner of a rectangle. And the corners of a rectangle is a right angle good, which means that these two angles must add up to 90 degree. Which means to find angle A, we just have to take a sum, which is 90 degree minus 32 degree, and that should give you 58 degree. Hence, this leaves us with option 2. Cool. James started doing her homework at the time shown below. She took 45 minutes to do her homework. What time did she complete her homework? So what time did she start doing her homework at? So let's look at this clock. It is 2. This is pointing at 2, right? So 2:20 p.m. But it cannot be a.m. because usually we assume that you guys don't do homework at midnight. Instead, you do it in the afternoon. So Jane started at 2:20 p.m. Then she took 45 minutes. So we can split this 45 minutes. So what we want to do is we want to find out what's the nearest hour to 2:20 p.m. So the nearest hour is 3 p.m., right? So it's easier if you split your timeline into 2 parts. So from 2:20 p.m. to 3 p.m., how many minutes is that? Good, it's 40 minutes. Which is not enough to fill up our 45 minutes, right? So in order to get 45 minutes, we need another 5 minutes. So 5 minutes after 3 p.m. is 3:05 p.m. Hence, answer is option 3. A number is between 15 and 45. It is the common multiple of 4 and 8. One of its factors is 5. What is the number? So let's list out the multiple of 4 and 8 first. Then we find out what's common. So we will just have to list out until 45 because the number is between 15 and 45. So 4, 8, 12, 16, 20, 24, 28, 32, 36, 40, 44. For 8, it will be 8, 16, 24, 32, 40, 48. So what's common between this row and this row? So we see a 16. We also see a 24. Let me use another color. We also see 40. So there's 3 possible answers. And they are 16, 24, and 40. But we are given another information is that one of its factors is 5. Which means out of these 3 numbers, which number is a multiple of 5? It's only 40, right? Hence answer is option 4. Well, why is it 40? Because 40 is the only number when you divide it by 5, you get no remainder. So it's a remainder of 0, which means that it has a factor of 5. Cool? Colin and Ben had 126 euro stamps altogether. Colin had 3 times as many stamps as Ben. How many stamps did Colin have altogether? So you got 2 characters. Got Colin. You got Ben. Colin has 3 times as much as Ben. So in this case, if Ben is 1 unit, Colin has 3 units. Good. Also given that they have 126 euro stamps altogether. So where do I label that in the model? At the side? Good. So how many units belong to 126 euro? Is 1, 2, 3, 4. 4 units. So 4 units, if you 1260, so 1 unit is just 1260 divided by 4. So this should give you 315. You want to find out how many stamps did Colin have. Hence the question mark belongs to Colin. And Colin has 3 units. So we want to find out what 3 unit represents. And that will just be 315 times 3. Good. So answer is 945. Hence answer is option 4. In the figure below, which 2 angles are smaller than a right angle? So smaller than right angle, it means it is acute angle. So it must look something like this. So U is a right angle. So it's not acute. Is V acute? Yes, V is acute. Is S acute? No, because it is bigger than right angle. So this makes it an obtuse angle. Is T acute angle? Yes, because it's smaller than 90 degrees. So the answer is T and V. So answer is option 4. X, Y, and Z are 3 towns on the map. X is west of Y, and angle XYZ is 135 degrees. Z is what of Y? Of something. So let's draw the compass at Y. So we can draw an 8-point compass. So here will be north, down will be south, to the right will be east, to the left will be west. And Z is right smack in between north and east, right? Which means Z is north, east. So answer is option 3. The figure is made out of rectangles. Find the area of rectangle ADEH. Before we do that, do you know what this represents? This just means they are the same length. Which means if this is 9, here also 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 9. You also see another figure, this one. Which means if this is 7, this is also 7, 7, 7. So now we are supposed to find the area. Area of rectangle, what's the formula? Is length times breadth. Good. In this case, the length is 9 plus 9 plus 9, right? Which is just 9 times 3. So that's 27. Length is 27. And the breadth is here at the side. And the breadth is 7. So it's just 27 times 7, which should give you 189 cm squared. Hence answer is option 3. The figure below is made out of a square ABCD and rectangle WXYZ. What is the length of XY? So what's so special about square? Is that all sides are the same. Cool. Which means that if here is 10 cm, this guy must also be 10 cm, which means that this small guy over here will just be 10 minus 6, right? So this small guy over here, this green guy is 4. So now can we find what xy is? Xy, which is here, is just 14 plus 4, and this gives you 18 cm. Cool. So answer is option 2. Next. A rectangular field was 100 meter long and 50 meter wide. Jack ran around it 10 times. What was the distance Jack ran? So you have a rectangular field. They tell you the length is 100 meter. The width is 50 meter. Which means here also 100. Here 50. One round around the entire rectangular field. Which means one round around the field. What's the distance? It's just the perimeter, which is just 100 plus 50 plus 100 plus 50. So this should give you 300. But Jack didn't just run one round around the field. He ran it 10 times. So 10 rounds will just mean 300 times 10. Good. So answer should be 3000 meter. Answer is option 4. Two similar skirts and 3 similar blouses cost $245. If each skirt costs twice as much as each blouse, how much will 4 such skirts cost? So I let one blouse cost 1 unit. Since the skirt costs twice, it means that the skirt will cost 2 units, right? So let's imagine we buy 3 blouses. Blouse, blouse, blouse. Just now we say 1 blouse, 1 unit, right? So 3 blouses, 3 units. Now she bought 2 skirts. So we know that 1 skirt costs 2 units. So 1 skirt costs 2 units. And she didn't just buy 1 skirt, she bought 2 skirts. So another 2 units is another skirt. And they tell you 2 skirts and 3 blouses, $245. Which means the total here is $245. So how many units is 245? Is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 7 units is $245. So 1 unit is just 245 divided by 7. Good. So that will be $35. They ask you 4 such skirts. So let's recap. 1 skirt costs 2 units. So 1 skirt costs you 2 units, which means 4 skirts will cost you how many units? It will cost you 2 times 4 units, which is 8 units. So just now we know 1 unit is $35. So 8 units will just be 35 times 8. Good. So answer is 280. Answer is hence option 3. Camellia folded a towel to form the shape shown below. What is the length of the towel? Before we do anything, let's unfold our towel first so that we form the original towel. This one will go up. And then this triangle will unfold and become this triangle. So since here is 6, here also must be 6. And since this was folded upwards, which means that this guy was also 6 cm. Now let's do the other side. So we unfold this side. So you're supposed to look like this. This triangle supposed to be this triangle over here. So since this was folded up, this also means that this is 4 cm. Cool. Which also means that this is 6 cm. Here is 4 cm because we have it here. And this guy is 6 cm. This guy is 8 cm. So what is the length? So length is this part over here, right? This whole part, which is just 4 plus 6 plus 8 plus 6 plus 4. So 4 plus 6 plus 8 plus 6 plus 4, and that should give you 28 cm. Hence answer is option 4. Not an easy question. The wall of the living room is 15 meters times 8 meters. After painting for an hour, the painter only managed to paint 24 meters square of the wall. What's the area of the wall not painted? So this is the part that's painted, not painted. Before we do anything, let's find the total area of the living room, which is length times breadth. So essentially, we are finding this part over here. So the length is 15 and the breadth is 8. So it's just 15 times 8, and that should give you 120 meters square. So 24 meters square is the one painted, which means to find the one not painted, we just have to take the total minus what was painted, right? So 120 minus 24, and that should give you 96 meters square. Hence answer is option 2. Cool. Question 21. Round 49652 to the nearest 100. So let's write down 49652. And we underline the 100 space. So to the left of the 100 space, we keep. To the right, it's all zeros. So the only number we should concern ourselves with is the 100 space itself. So it can either be 6 or plus 1 becomes 7. So whether it's 6 or 7 is dependent on your neighbor next door, onto the right. Right is always right. So you look at your neighbor 5, right? Is 5 a huge number? Yes, which means you have to round up, right? Hence answer is 49700. What is considered a small neighbor are numbers like 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. Big neighbors are neighbors like 5, 6, 7, 8, and 9. Cool? What is the fifth multiple of 8? So this is just 5 times 8, which gives you 14. Hence answer is 14. Three 150 bits were given equally to 7 students for their project. How many bits did each student get? So we have 7 students. In total, they have 3150 bits to share among them. And since the bits are supposed to be given equally, so each student are supposed to receive the same amount, right? So one student or 7 students is 3150 bits. So which means one student will receive 3150 divided by 7. Good. So answer should be 450. Name the angle that is an obtuse angle. So obtuse angles means something like this, right? So bigger than a right angle. So bigger than 90 degrees. So D, is it obtuse? No, it's acute. C, is it obtuse? No, it's actually a right angle. A, is it obtuse? No, it's acute because it's smaller than right angle. B, is it obtuse? Yes, because it's bigger than a right angle. Hence answer is angle B. We'll skip question 25 and question 27 because I don't have projector on this iPad. So let's do question 26. David is standing at point X facing the bakery. How many 1/4 turns must he make in order to face the MRT station? So he's facing bakery right now. Since the question didn't say whether he turned clockwise or anti-clockwise, we will just assume that he turns clockwise. So 1/4 turn is actually a right angle. because 1/4 is like this. So this is 90 degrees, which is your right angle. So in order to face MRT stations, he has to turn one right angle and another right angle, right? So that's 2 right angles, which means it's 2 1/4 turns. Good. Aisha was facing southeast after turning through an angle of 270 degrees in an anti-clockwise direction. Which direction was she facing at first? So she ended up facing here southeast. So SE stands for southeast. So this is where she ended up after turning 270 degrees in anti-clockwise direction. So when we want to find out where was she facing originally, we need to reverse what she did. So since she turned anti-clockwise, to reverse her action, we will have to turn clockwise. And clockwise is here. This is anti-clockwise, which is not what we want. We wanted clockwise. By the way, clockwise means how your manual clock tick. So your clock ticks like that, right? Clockwise. So we just have to reverse clockwise by 270 degrees. So it's a huge number. You may not know how it looks like, but we like to break it down into many right angles. So this is one right angle, 90 degrees. It's not enough for 270, right? So we do another 90 degrees. Now total is 180, still not 270 degrees yet. So we'll do another 90 degrees. So just nice, 90 plus 90 plus 90 gives you 270 degrees, which means after turning 270 degrees, she would face northeast. And that's why at first she was facing northeast. Cool? Using a ruler and set square, given that ST equals to 6 cm and TU equals to 4 cm, draw and label rectangle STUV on the 1 cm square grid paper below. Okay, so we have this rectangle called STUV. So usually convention, you must turn in the clockwise direction. So S, next should be T, next should be U, next should be V. So this is how you label your rectangle. So we are given that ST is supposed to be 6 cm. And TU is supposed to be 4 cm. So now let's draw this on the square grid paper. So 6 cm here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Please use a ruler. So this will be your ST. Let me just label S and T. 4 cm downwards, 1, 2, 3, 4. This should be TU. Then we can just join back to form a rectangle. Cool. And your last point will be V. So I'll just shift this, which means this will be your answer. Cool. Thomas poured some water into the beaker below, as shown below. How much more water was needed to make 300 ml? So before we can do that, we have to find out one gap equals to how many ml. So if you were to count how many gaps are there from here all the way to here, let's count. So this is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26, 27, 28, 29, 30. 30 gaps give you 300 ml, which means one gap should equate to 300 divided by 30. So 10 ml, which means this gap over here gives you 10 ml, next gap gives you 20, and so on. So let's find out how much water is there right now in the beaker. So it's this line over here, right? So let's count how many gaps there are. So it'll be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12. 12 gaps. So 12 gaps means 10 times 12 ml. So that should give you 100 20 ml. So currently you have 120 ml of water in the beaker. Now they are asking you how much more water you need to make 300 ml. So basically they're trying to make you find this part over here, which will just be 300 minus 120 ml. Good. So answer is 180 ml. Cool. Next, form the smallest 5-digit odd number using the digits 8, 5, 7, 1, and 3. Use each digit only once. So we are supposed to form a 5-digit number. You want it to be smallest, which means this guy must be the smallest number. And they want it to be odd, which means the last digit must be odd, but it also should be big. So you'll start with the last digit first, since there are two criteria, which means we have to be more strict with the last digit. So what is an odd number out of these 5 digits? And it's the biggest odd number. It should be 7. Good. So let's recall what are odd and even numbers, okay? Odd numbers are those that are not divisible by 2. So things like 1, 3, 5, 7, 9. Which means when you divide it by 2, you'll get remainder. Even numbers are those that are divisible by 2. So things like 0, 2, 4, 6, 8. So all these numbers, when you divide it by 2, you get no remainder. Cool? Okay, so now we can work on our first digit. It should be the smallest. So the smallest should be 1. Next smallest is 3. Next smallest should be 5. And last but not least, 8. So answer is 1, 3, 5, 8, 7. Cool. Kelly was standing in the middle of a field and was facing east. She turned through 225 degrees in the clockwise direction. Which direction was she facing in the end? Okay, let's draw an 8-point compass, okay? Because we need it for this question. So here should be south, on the right should be east, on the left should be west. This point over here is right smack between north and east, right? That's why you call it northeast. This point over here is right smack in between south and east, so we call it southeast. This point over here is right smack in between south and west, that's why we call it southwest. And last but not least, this point over here is right smack in between north and west. That's why we call it northwest. Cool. So now she was facing east. So she started here. Then she turned 225 degrees in clockwise direction. Clockwise, is it option 1 or option 2? Should be option 1, right? So if you can't recall, you can look at maybe one of the manual clocks you have in your home and observe how it ticks. So the direction that it takes is actually clockwise direction. And the opposing motion, so the direction opposite of it, we call it anti-clockwise. That's why we have this word called anti in front of the clockwise. Okay, good. So answer should be option 1. So she would turn this direction. Okay, so 225 degrees, we may not know how it looks like, but we can split it into many 90 degrees. So this is our first 90 degree. So it's not enough to make 225, right? So we put another 90 degree. So now we have 180 degree. Still not enough. We put another 90 degree. Now we get 270 degree, which is way too much. So we'll cut it by half. So half of 90 degree is 45 degree. So now good. So 90 plus 90 plus 45 should give you 225 degree, which is exactly what you want. And hence, she was facing north, west in the end. So answer is north, west. Cool. The figure below is made out of 2 identical squares. The perimeter of the figure is 56 cm. What is the length of one side of the squares? Okay, so what's so special about squares is that all sides are the same. Good. which means this is the same as this, same. So we can let it be 1 unit each, because they're all the same anyways, right? And we are given that the parameter is 56 cm. So when you add up this plus 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 this, you get 56 cm. Which means when you add them up, you're supposed to get 8 units, right? So 8 units is supposed to give you 56 cm. So 1 unit is just 56 divided by 8, good. Which is 7 cm. Is this what you want? It's actually what you want because they ask you for length of one side. So the question mark is actually here, which is 1 unit. And we managed to find 1 unit to be 7 cm. Next answer is 7. Cool. The tailor used 135 cm of cloth to sew a skirt. He had to sew 9 such skirts. How much cloth did he use to sew all the skirts? Write your answer in meters and centimeters. So one skirt, you need 135 cm. To sew 9 skirts, you need way more amount of cloth, right? So instead of divide, you should times, good. So 135 times 9. And that should give you 1215 cm. Now let's convert these to meter and cm. So let's recall 1 meter is how many cm? 1 meter is 100 cm. Good. So to convert from cm to meter, we need to divide it by 100. So how do we do this? So the decimal point is here, right? Which means if you divide, you need to move your decimal point leftwards. By how many times? 2 times, because there are 2 zeros. So it's 12.15 meter. See, it's 12 meter and 15 cm. And this one answer is 12 meter and 15 cm. Cool. Next. Write down the common multiples of 6 and 9 that's smaller than 50 but larger than 20. So to do that, we have to list out multiples of 6 and multiple of 9 first. So multiples of 6, 12, 18, 24, 30, 36, 42, 48. I see, right? For 9, 18, 27, 36, 45. Okay, so now it's time for us to find out what is common between this row and this row. So I can see 18, I can see 24, I can see 36. Okay, so we are only left with these 2 options, which is 18 and 36. We also have a second criteria, which is that it must be smaller than 50, but larger than 20. So the only one that fits this criteria is 36. So answer is 36. Cool. Sun times 3 give you a moon. Moon times 6 give you 7650. And it asks you to find what the sun is. So we have to reverse everything. So let's start from this second row. So moon times 6 gives you 7650. Which means if I just want to find the moon, I have to shift this guy over, right? So when you shift 6 over, the sign will become what? So this moon, right? Will become 7650 divided by 6. Why divide? Because here is times, right? So whenever you shift things over, the sign has to be opposite. So instead of times, it will be divide. So it will be 1275. Now we know the moon is 1275. Now we'll look at the first row. Let's find out what the sun is. So to find out what the sun is, same thing. We need to shift this 3 over. So when you shift it over, do you times or divide? Good, you divide because here is times. So when you shift over, you have to switch the sign to the opposite sign. So opposite of times is divide. So it just be 1275 divided by 3. Hence answer is 425. STUW is a rectangle. Find the difference between angle A and angle B. Okay, let's find out what is angle A and angle B first. So how do you find out what angle A is? So you have to recognize that the corners of a rectangle is a right angle. So here is also a right angle, which means these two will add up to 90 degree good. So to find angle A, just have to take a sum minus the other angle, which is 39, right? Which means this should give you 51 degree. Same goes for angle B. These two should add up to 90 degree, which means to find angle B, we take the sum, which is 90, minus the other angle, which is 52, which means that this should give you 38. Now we cannot stop here because they ask you for a difference between A and B. So the difference between A and B, just we take the bigger one minus the smaller one, which is 51 degree minus 38 degree. So this should give you 13 degrees. Cool. Next, Jolin had 10 liters of water. She used 750 ml of the water to wash her clothes and used 450 ml of it to water her plants. How much water had she left? And give your answer in liters. Okay, so we face a problem here. Here's in liters, here's in ml. What I would like to do is to convert these liters to ml to make our life easier. So 1 liter is how many ml? Is it 100 or is it 1000? Good, it's 1000 ml. So 1 liter is 1000 ml, so 10 liter will be 1000 times 10 ml, which will be 10,000 ml. So Jolin started off with 10,000 ml. After that she used, right? So now she has less. So when she has less, we have to minus. And she used another 450 to water her plants. So now she has even lesser water. So when you have less, you minus. So this is what's left. So if you work this out by yourself, you get 2000 ml. So she's left with 2000 ml. But the question wants you to do it in liters. So just now we all agreed that 1 liter is 1000 ml. So to convert from ml to liters, we need to divide by 1000, good. So it will be 2000 divided by 1000. So we'll do this. 2000 divided by 1000. When you divide, you'll move the decimal point to your left. And in this case, how many times? 3 times, because there are 3 zeros. So 1, 2, 3. Hence answer should be 2 liters. Next, the bar graph shows the types of fruits sold by a store last week. How many more apples than pineapples were sold in the week and how many fruits were sold altogether? So whenever we have a bar graph, we have to label our bar graph. So let's look at papaya. We have to just trace it down. So this is 250. Trace it down for pineapple. This gives you 150. Trace it down for watermelon. This gives you 300. Trace it down for apple. This gives you 400. Cool. First question asks you, how many more apples than pineapples were there? So apples you have 400. Pineapples you have 150. So how many more? Just take the bigger number minus the smaller number. So you should get 250. Next, how many fruits were sold all together? So total. So you just have to sum them up. So it just means 250 plus 150 plus 300 plus 400. 250 plus 150 plus 300 plus 400. So that should give you 11 0, 0. Cool. Sarah had twice as many sweets as Mabel. After Mabel bought another 90 sweets, Mabel had thrice as many sweets as Sarah. How many sweets did Sarah have? So even I'm not a god, we all have to draw model. So we've got two characters here. We've got Sarah and we got Mabel. So at first, Sarah has twice. Means if Mabel got 1 unit, Sarah has 2 units. Next, Mabel bought another 90 sweets. And now Mabel had thrice as many sweets as Sarah. Thrice doesn't mean Mabel has 3 units. This is a very, very common mistake. So you have to look at what Sarah has first. Sarah has 2 units, right? Which means thrice of Sarah means 3 times of Sarah. So 3 times 2 units should give you 6 units. So Mabel is supposed to have 6 units in total at the end. Cool. So now let's just focus on Mabel. So I will pull this out. Let's just focus on what Mabel has. So if you look at Mabel, the whole thing is 6 units. And here is 1 unit, which means this remaining should just be 6 unit minus 1 unit, right? Which is 5 unit. Which also means 5 unit is 90. So 1 unit is just 90 divided by 5. Good. So that should give you 18. Question asks you, how many sweets did Sarah have? So question mark should be here. And this question mark also means you are finding for how many units? 2. Good. So 2 unit must be 18 times 2, which is 36. So answer is 36. Mr. Goh had 1685 pairs. He packed all the pairs equally into boxes of 5. Part A asks you, what is the number of boxes needed to pack all the pairs? And Part B asks you, if each box of pear costs $7, how much would Mr. Goh earn if he sold all the boxes? So let's do Part A first. So Mr. Goh has 1685 pairs and he packed all the pairs equally into boxes of 5, which means this box got 5 pairs. So let me draw simpler. This box got 5 pairs, this box got 5 pairs, this box got 5 pairs, in total 1685 pairs. So you have many boxes. This dollar just means you don't know how many boxes. Part A asks you how many boxes were there. So it should just be 1685 divided by 5. Good. And that should give you 337. So part A is 337 boxes. Now we'll move on to part B. So we'll shift this away. Okay, part B. If each box costs you $7, so this box costs you $7. This box costs you $7. This box costs you $7. How many or how much money would Mr. Goh earn? So one box, he can earn $7. And from part A, we found out that he has a total of 337 boxes, right? So which means if he sells all 337 boxes, he will have earned 337 times $7. So that should give you $2359. Good. Hence part B answer is 2359. Casey, Gopal, and Ahmad collected 5370 coins. If Ahmad collected 1498 coins and Gopal collected twice as many as him, how many coins did Casey collect? So in total, Casey plus Gopal plus Ahmad, he collected 5370. So it's the total. Ahmad himself, he collected 1498. And Gopal himself, he collected twice as many as Ahmad. So twice means 2 times, right? So 2 times whatever Ahmad have. So Ahmad has 1498. So that should give you 2996 coins. Now they ask you for KC. So KC, to find out what KC have, you just have to take the total minus the 2 other guys, right? So 5370 minus 1498 minus 2996. And that should give you 876 coins. Answer is hence 876 coins. Minah spent 2 hours 40 minutes baking a cake. She spent another 35 minutes to decorate the cake. She finished decorating the cake at 7:30 p.m. What time did Minah start baking her cake? So we need a timeline. She ended at 7:30 p.m. So now we'll reverse. What's the duration that we reverse, right? We'll look at what happened. So first step, she baked a cake. Second step, she need to decorate the cake. So in total, how much time was spent? Total time spent was 2 hours 40 minutes plus another 35 minutes, right? So this will give you 2 hours 75 minutes. But since you look at this minute is larger than 60, right? And we know that 1 hour can give you, or 1 hour is 60 minutes, which means we can carry 1 over and make it 3 hours. Then we take 75 minus 60. So that should give you 15 minutes. So it's 3 hours, 15 minutes. So now what we have to do is we just have to reverse the time by 3 hours and 15 minutes. So we'll do it by parts. We reverse by 3 hours first. So 7:30 p.m., you reverse the time by 3 hours. You should get 4:30 p.m., right? Then now we have to reverse by another 15 minutes. Hence that should give you 4:15 p.m. Hence answer is 4:15 p.m. Cool. An empty bag has a mass of 60 grams. It has a mass of 980 grams when it is filled with marbles. If each marble has a mass of 8 grams, how many marbles are there in the bag? So I have a bag. And inside got marble. So the bag itself weighs 60 grams. And if I pour out all the marbles, so now I decided to separate the bag and the marble. So it's the bag and all the marble. So I pour out all the marble. You know how many marbles are there? But you know there's many marbles. So same thing, the bag is still 60 grams. Let me use a different type of arrow. Bag is 60 grams. And each marble is 8 grams. They also give you another information, which is that it has a mass of 980 grams when it is filled with marbles. Which means this whole thing is 980 grams. So if I just want to find out the mass of the marble itself, mass of all the marbles, let's have to take 980 minus the mass of the bag, right? So I just get the mass of the marbles itself. So it will be 920 grams, which means the marble in total weigh 920 grams. And each marble weigh 8 grams. So if I can show it to you, this each marble. One marble weigh 8 grams. And in total, all the marbles, so you don't know how many marbles are there, that's why I put dot. Total, they weigh 920 grams. So how many marbles are there? Subtract 920 divided by 8. Good. So answer should be 115 marbles. Cool. Last question. The bar graph shows the types of keychains that Kumar collects from different countries. Kumar collected twice as many keychains from Malaysia as from China. How many keychains from Malaysia did he collect? So whenever we see a bar graph, we need to label it. So let's do it for Australia first. So this is 350. This guy over here is 200. This guy over here is 300. Good. Now we are given that we collected twice as many from Malaysia as from China, which means China is 200, Malaysia is twice of it, means 2 times of it. So for for Malaysia, it's 2 times of China, right? So 2 times what China have, she's 200, it should give you 400. Hence Malaysia, we collected 400 keychains. Part B, draw the bar for the number of keychains Kumar collected from Malaysia. So for Malaysia, we found in part A is 400. So let's trace. Then just draw 2 lines down. So this is Malaysia. Cool. Part C. How many keychains from Malaysia and Japan did he collect altogether? So Malaysia is 400. They want you to find Malaysia and Japan. So just add up Malaysia and Japan. And that will just be 400 plus 300. So this should give you 700. Oh, that's the end. So got any questions, just ping me now.